All right, Mr. Jeff Shields.
What's up, dude?
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, dude.
Got a lot to talk about. You've been a busy guy.
Been trying lately, man. I got to get the new gym coming. So
Yeah. So Jeff Shields, Central Valley, black belt, entrepreneur, good friend. Have you on today because the Valley is going to take a big shift. I feel like in the next few years. I feel like we're growing with obviously real estate, business, entrepreneurship. Gyms are popping up everywhere. Fresno's just like constantly growing right now.
Yeah.
So I think the gym was like perfect addition to everything going on. So I want to talk to you about that. But first, give me a quick intro. Tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Sure. Yeah. So grew up here. Actually, went to Clovis High, Fresno State. Graduated. Actually, I did my master's degree online, so I actually ended up transferring out from Fresno State after my 4 years. Did my master's degree. Been doing jiu-jitsu since 2010. Got my black belt in 2019. For about the last decade outside of jiu-jitsu, I've been in corporate sales. Husband, father of 3 beautiful kids. Yeah, man, life's good right now.
Yeah.
So,
So you started with wrestling, got into jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
Because I remember, man, you were kind of everywhere for a little while. I couldn't keep track. I was always trying to find you, couldn't keep track of you. But now you are going to be a business owner pretty soon.
Yeah. No, I finally pulled the trigger. It's been a lifelong passion, dream, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew I was going to start a school. I just didn't know when it was going to fall into place, right? When is it going to make the most sense? I originally was going to open a gym in 2019. I was just then working with a laboratory doing medical sales and had stashed away a good amount of money to where I felt comfortable enough to pull the trigger at that time. And so I did. I resigned from my job. It was like January 2019. And we were gung-ho. I was going to start training. I was recruiting more and more private lessons to build my clientele. And then about 3 months later, Ashley, my wife, comes to me and says that, we're pregnant with our first son, Logan. And so I was like, okay, like happy moment. Don't get me wrong. But in my head, I was like, I should probably put the passion project on the back burner.
Keep that smile, Jeff. Don't show in your face like, oh, damn. Sorry, honey. I just put 50 grand down on a gym.
I know. I was like, I need to put the passion project on the back burner. And, it's the first kid too. So you're like unaware, you're nervous, everything. So
she's like, what's wrong? You're like, nothing.
No.
I'm super excited.
So at that point, I transitioned back into another corporate sales job. Just got out of that one. That was actually probably one of the best ones I ever had. And worked there for about 5.5 years. But now it made a lot more sense to take that.
Damn, so you sat on that for 5 years?
5 years.
Oh, man. Got to go back to work now.
Well, it probably would have been faster, but during that 5-year period, I ended up popping out 2 more kids. So at this point, I'm a father of 3.
Well,
So, no. Life happened, if you will. And now it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So now's the right time.
I actually thought you were going to say COVID because I know a few people that went and got business loans. Thank God they weren't that big.
Right.
But they still had to pay it. I was like, whoa. Right. We're getting rid of student debt, but these guys just pulled out $75,000 loans to start these businesses.
Exactly.
They were going to pay, and they're stuck with them.
Yeah.
I think it worked out a little bit later, kind of like your situation. They actually were like, you know what? We found this better spot. We actually got better employees now, but they were like, I'm still paying interest on this $100 grand that I got from the bank.
Right.
So, went from the 2 week, we're going to lock down for 2 weeks too.
It was definitely
3
a good
years.
time to see though how jiu-jitsu gyms did during that time. For me at least, because for me, knowing that eventually I was going to start a gym, and then I'm witnessing 2020 last all the way through like the middle of 2021, a lot of gyms fell off during that time. But then you were able to see, okay, what did the gyms that stayed alive, what did they do differently? And most of it just boiled down.
They taped up the windows is what they did.
Most of them stayed open. A lot of really good gyms did.
Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu community in the Central Valley, we don't play that. Every gym I saw was just like, oh, we're not here.
The good gyms at least, because they knew like, all right, this is a scam.
Barbershops, gyms, we're not here.
We're in close proximity every day, grappling, and these people were fine. You know what I mean? It's just they realized the benefit of doing jiu-jitsu was far outweighing this COVID scare or whatever that was. So, no, I was definitely looking at that time, and the actual process began in about 2022. So it's been like a 2-year process to even get to where I'm at now.
This has just been brewing then. You're just like, when am I going to do this?
Originally, the old GB3 building off of Cedar and Knees. That's what we were looking at. That was George's like first GB3 building, and it's been sitting there vacant for about the last
That's a big spot too.
5 years. Yeah, it's huge.
That's a big spot.
It's huge. Don't get me wrong. It's like 28,000 square feet. Immediately, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it by myself. I was actually going to have to go in with a buddy of mine, Jason Beard. He owns JB Fitness.
Yeah. Badass looking gym, dude.
It's an awesome gym.
Yeah.
And so we were going to partner together. He was going to take half the main space. I was going to take the other half, and then we were going to share the locker room space because you could get in from two sides, and we just figured that'd be a great deal.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? So then that way it made the rent seem a lot more manageable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still expensive. It's 28,000 square foot building. Rent is going to be like in the $35,000 range a month.
Yeah.
Talk about the first thing I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm going for. But
don't expect that ROI right away.
no, I know. With him, it made sense, you know. So both of us together, and his vibes in his gym, aesthetically was going to match perfectly with the way I wanted.
Well,
to
I'm sure your memberships would have just been on, just been blown
it
up
would
the
have had
first
to
month
adjust,
anyway.
yeah. So, but
You guys know a lot of people.
even with him with me, I mean, we were negotiating hard,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, the Iron Office, they actually ended up leaving the spot that they were at previously, and then they jumped in and they made an offer that could not be refused, and they came back to me if I wanted.
They're doing
to counter
good.
that.
They have another huge gym.
Yeah, no,
that
props
did really,
to them. Props to
really
them.
nice gym too.
And I hope they continue to kill it.
Yeah.
I'll get to it, but our new building is back in that same location. So,
Yeah.
No, definitely trying to make friends with them.
It's gonna be an awesome little spot over there, man.
Yeah. So it fell out because the offer, was refuted. They got their offer in, and we didn't want to counter it because it was just too much. So Jason ended up going his own way. He opened his gym, which again, like you said, badass gym. I go there myself.
Yeah.
And then I started looking for new spots, and the commercial real estate market was rough, dude. I mean, this last 2 years, I could go probably be a commercial real estate broker at this point. I've got that much knowledge now with the ins
where all the hot spots are. You're like, I got a spot for you.
dude. Yeah, dude. It's a different world. It's so much different than even like housing real estate. Like the regular residential real estate. It's a process. I mean, brokers will sit with their clients for years on end doing negotiations on things just because they realize this
contractors and just everything, especially a new building.
Yes.
And and the biggest thing is, I mean, now California, I mean, we just had like 6 major companies leave. If you're anywhere near a fire zone, good luck right now.
Yeah.
Because I know you were looking out in Madera at one point.
Yep.
And I was like, that's going to be a tough little area because, there's a lot of new stuff, but I don't know how Madera being a little bit of a smaller city, like permits probably take a little while. But like the commercial though, what happened was so many people were leaving the office that when you go to look at a spot now, they're like, oh, our rent is now double because I have to still pay the bank.
Right.
So yeah, probably not a good time to go shopping for a commercial because they're like, listen, everyone's rent just went up, so your rent just went up as well.
Exactly. So no, like you said, that was my next spot that we looked at. It wasn't so much in the city of Madera. It was right off of the 41 and like Avenue 10 where that new Riverstone development is out there. So this was a newer spot. Brand new building. The original place that I looked at had 3 buildings in their development, if you will, and one whole building was still available. And the owner wanted to subdivide that up and rent out little spots, little offices like this, if you will. But I went in and I was like, I'm down to take your whole building. How much square footage is this? And he was like, it's 8,000 square feet. I was like, perfect.
I'll take 2.
Right? Yeah, I'll take 2. No, I was like, that's perfect. Obviously, I'm downgrading from the 28,000 square, but it was just too much, right?
Yeah.
So, no, 8,000 was perfect, and it was a built shell building, right? So the building's already built, then the inside was ready for me to just go in and renovate it, right?
Yeah.
So we started that process, but the problem was, like I said, there was 2 other buildings in this development, and the original issue that we ran into was that the county of Madera, who was in charge of getting you all your permits and things that you had to sign off on, they were telling us that the parking ratio wasn't going to work for the amount of building that I had in comparison to the amount of parking that was in that building.
They were like,
yeah, just little details, dude.
All that little.
And we're like, what are you talking about? All the other tenants in the building were like, we only use 1 space. He can have our spaces,
Yeah.
But just saying that verbally is not enough, So we had to kind of fight them for a little while.
So really, they just didn't build enough parking for what they
well,
unexpectedly didn't know that, like, you know what, we didn't know a gym might be here. Like, we need
exactly.
we should have bought more
Yes.
property.
Like, technically, when it came down to like the code of what type of business you were going to have, in their heads, the landlord was expecting more like office
Yeah.
units. So not that the building couldn't be coded for a gym. It just,
little unexpected surprises like that.
As we were fighting
Which
the
can
county,
make, that could scare people. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
parking here sucks.
Right.
I know I'm like that. So
No, it's
if
a
I
huge
pull up
problem.
and there's no parking, I'm like, I don't want to go to this gym.
I was just at that point in time, like, ready to risk it. And like, I was like, I'll deal with parking when it
Yeah.
gets there, But I needed to get in at first. So we were dealing with the county. All in the meantime, the landlord was getting a little nervous, like we might not win with the county.
Yeah.
So little did I know, he ended up actually leasing out half the building to somebody else without me knowing.
Oh.
And I was like, what is going on? And he didn't tell me about it or anything. He's like, look, this front part of the building, I got a friend, blah, blah, blah. Like, we rented it out. 1 week later, we win with the parking lot problem.
Oh,
so if he would have just waited 1 week,
Yeah.
I would have already been into a building a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Right. But again, it's like a blessing in disguise.
I was gonna say, God's funny though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
You make plans and God just laughs in your face.
exactly.
Like,
No. And I'm like, what are you doing? But I just don't
you guys
know.
are funny.
So he kind of felt bad because then we did win the parking and was like, look, I own a lot, 2 lots down. There's a house on it right now, but same street. And he goes, we'll demo the house and we'll just build you a whole custom building. And I'm like, well, that kind of makes up for it. Okay. Yeah, let's delve into that.
Yeah.
So we start construction on all of that. Well, first we do all the planning. I'm working directly with the architects to literally design this the exact way that I want now. They're going to take care of it and build it out, and then I just rent from the guy, right? So we start going on this process, and I mean, the design process, getting everything to code. I have a full parking lot now at this new building. Like, everything's seemingly working out right. County is still the county, and there's still the issues that we have with them, but it was manageable at this point because we're doing everything custom just for me. And probably about, I'd say like a month before actual construction is ready to start, we waited on signing the lease until we knew we had all the final approved plans from the county so that we had no curveballs thrown at us. We knew exactly what we were going to get. Everything was approved. Okay, now let's go in and sign.
This is going perfect.
My investment team consists of basically my dad and his construction companies, right? And so, which is kind of a good two-way thing. A, I'm getting the investment that I need, but then B, they're in the industry of literally building, renovating. That's what they do, and they're pros at it. So he specializes, though, in concrete construction. So we always actually made a deal with the landlord. Hey, we'll even take care of all the concrete work ourselves.
Yeah.
Pay for that.
Same thing my parents do.
Yeah.
You guys need asphalt?
Yeah, exactly. And
Your
that's what we
parking
told
lot
them.
looks old.
We said we'll do the foundation, we'll do the parking lot,
Yeah.
any sort of retaining walls, anything that was concrete, we would do it. And so we put a number to that too. It was about, I don't know, 140,000 or something like that. And the goal was, if we could take a little bit off of the landlord's plate, then it would help keep my rent low, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, of course, deal. And so, long story short, we get to that final signing day when all the planning was done, and so we get the lease. We're looking through it. Lease looks good. And then the back page of where the scope of work is, for us, that should have only been concrete, and then everything else was on him. Well, let's just say a lot more got added to that list.
Of course.
That took that $140,000 total like up to like $400,000 on our plate.
Wow.
And we were super, super confused. He was seemingly confused too, and there was just a big misunderstanding. But all in the meanwhile, while we're trying to like fix that, you could just kind of tell, well, I could tell, and my team could tell, like, I don't know if I want to be in business with this guy, And it sucks because it was like a year and a half worth of getting to that point. But again, it could have just been God telling me at this point, like, here's your next lesson, okay, in this
Things will
journey.
be exposed.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, we decided to back out. And
Now, did you already have money into that, though? Or
no,
had nothing really been
maybe
officially...
nothing substantial.
Okay,
Nothing
okay.
substantial, So I wasn't, it was more just time,
Yeah.
Time and like planning and like kind of even like you knew it was going to be
Yeah.
over there. Like a lot of people knew and was kind of almost waiting for it. Even if it was a little further out, people were already trying to prep how they were going to get there, right? Because
Yeah.
they knew they wanted to train with me, you know, that kind of thing. So it was bittersweet. I had to pull the plug, and then it was back to square one again, right? Here I am now, a year and a half in, already went from the big building to this building to another building. I was like, damn, okay, you know? At this point, though, the good thing was that I at least was a pro now at looking for buildings, knowing how to negotiate right off the bat, knowing kind of what brokers needed.
You didn't fail. You just learned a lot.
I just learned a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And so...
Now you're walking in looking for plumbing, looking for this, water down. Like now you're a pro.
Right. And at least I still had my corporate job too. So, you know, like I wasn't suffering or anything. I was still doing what I needed to do while kind of doing this on the side until it was ready.
Yeah.
So again, go back to the drawing board again, start searching for a new building. And then lo and behold, there's a spot right around the corner from my house, and it's right back on that Cedar and Teague by where the original building was, just right in front of it. Mm-hmm. This one is about like a 5,300 square foot location. Mm-hmm. It's like 5,000 square feet that has like a little outdoor spot, so it makes it larger.
Which
overall.
for people who don't know, that's a good sized gym. That's a lot. That's a lot of rolling mats. Yeah.
I mean, everything I looked at was going to be
not too big, not too small. That's good size. That's perfect.
So again, it was like, I'm getting down. I'm fine tuning. I should say God is fine tuning everything for me, right? And so, but again, that's North Fresno. So I thought, man, the rent's going to be insane on this. Like, whatever, let's just go ask, right? So my broker calls in and then comes back and was like, the price is good, you know? And I was like, really? You know, and I won't get into numbers or anything, but the price was good.
Yeah,
like,
that's a nice area.
Manageable,
yeah,
too.
It's a nice area.
And he said there's only one other person that's looking at it right now. And he goes, they're at the point where they've got a key. They're going in and kind of like bringing in their contractors to see how they can renovate. And so I said, at that price that it was at, I was like, put in an offer right now, just giving them exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Like not even negotiating, because it was already cheap. Like I was willing to take it for exactly what they were asking if I knew it would just secure me in that building. Right.
Yeah.
It was still cheaper than every other building I looked at. Mm-hmm. And so budget wise, because I was planning on something more, this was well within the budget. I said, yep, just give them what they want.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, that'll be the simplest offer we've ever made because there's no negotiating. We're literally just giving them what they want.
And you didn't need that much work considering, you know, you were just doing brand new construction, putting in concrete. This one you just had to tear down a few walls.
This one's just going to be
move some stuff out. Yeah.
Interior renovation is all it really needs. And
you need your own show at this point. Just, you know,
Dude, it's been a story.
Knock down all these walls. We're gonna, Just into the sledgehammer.
He puts in the offer, and I'm talking like the next day we get the offer back that it's been accepted. And usually every time we previously put an offer, we get a counter offer, things have been crossed out and adjusted. Everything was accepted. They just added a line on there. And we're like, what was it? And he was like, the landlord basically said that this is great. And the only thing he added was that he wants a free lifetime membership for him and his son. And I was like,
you're like, let me talk to my team. We'll think about it. Yeah.
I was like, that's
too much.
Dude. I was like, of course. You know,
by the way, he has 9 kids. Right. You know, for my family.
I guess he's been wanting to get into the art. So he was super excited that was like the first solid offer that came across his table.
Yeah.
And he was getting exactly what he wanted. So of course it was a no-brainer. So literally in a matter of like a week, we had that building secured. For every other building that took years or constant negotiating, that's when I knew it was just like 100% meant to be, you know?
Yeah.
And it was 3 minutes from my house, you know? So it was just like, wow.
Now, did you feel it then? Like, were you like, this is the one? Or were you like,
once I
this works out, this better be the... Were you still kind of nervous, or were you like, this is it?
I mean, there's always nerves. It's a brand new business, right? It's a whole new venture.
Like,
and
this is too good to be true.
We're not starting small either, you know? Like you said, a 5,000 square foot building is still a big size gym. And for what we're doing too, the goal was, of all the places that I've trained in jiu-jitsu, you know, just visiting places, you know, previous gyms, like anything, I was always, over the last decade, taking in what I loved about gyms, what I didn't like about gyms, the good, the bad, the nice aesthetics, the poor aesthetics. Anything that I saw was constantly filtering in my head what I wanted to do in my own gym, you know? And so part of what took some of the nerves off me, to your point, was just this space. I could just like clearly see where things were going to go. It already had rooms in place for some of the amenities that I was going to offer. Like,
that's crazy,
dude. One of the big things I always
Yeah.
wanted that other gyms do, like in LA a lot, are laundry service.
Yeah.
You know, where they'll
Perfect spot in the back.
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I took you
dude.
back there. Yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah. There's a whole room back there. That
David's
was
gonna be
set
back
up,
there folding.
just folding stuff up. Get on it. No, it has a spot for
He's
literally
gonna mess me up when he sees this video.
not even just one, but 2 sets of washer and dryers back there. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, this was made for me. This was literally made for me.
It's crazy.
We immediately got onto the plan on everything and started getting it all designed and developed. But I mean, I'm talking to you, I could literally just look around. I could know exactly where everything was going to go. Now it's just, we're executing right now. So the building used to be weird setup. It was like half salon, half bar and grill.
Yeah. It's like a big kitchen in the back.
It was, I could kind of see, it was a good idea. Like, you know, girls, when they're getting their hair done, sometimes it could take an hour or two with whatever
Yeah.
they do. And so they could get a cocktail and a sandwich or something
Events
like that.
and all that.
I think they just went a little too big, and I don't know, you know, obviously they didn't succeed, so something didn't work out along the way, which in turn ended up being good for me, but they were a high-end building before, and so the benefits to me and my aesthetic of what I wanted in the gym was like to be very, very nice, clean, modern, almost like
Yeah.
a very elegant place for jiu-jitsu, whereas I feel like a lot of other gyms kind of focus more on just the competitor and the
Yeah.
warrior, and so they kind of modeled their gym after that. Problem with doing that is, though, it kind of limits your audience to just that.
Well, and
that
you got to
type
match your
person.
environment. That's
Exactly.
that's a nice. You know,
Exactly.
if it was downtown, I would like that vibe. I would like, you know, hole in the wall CrossFit place with
Right.
big old kettlebells. Your spot,
Yeah.
it is weird how your mind when you're in that area, you have to match your environment.
You got to
though.
match the vibe. You got to match the aesthetic, and I mean, I was bringing the aesthetic no matter what.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that it fits into that area.
Yeah.
Perfectly. So
Yeah, you want to have
Yeah.
killers in there, but you want it to look nice when you walk.
the killers are going to come no matter what,
Yeah.
because they just see jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
The goal with this place is to market to the people that literally have no idea what jiu-jitsu is. They can walk in and immediately not feel intimidated, feel
Yeah.
completely comfortable. You know, that 45-year-old housewife that walks in that knows nothing about jiu-jitsu, when she walks into my gym, she'll literally be like, oh, I could train here. Like,
Yeah.
and not know nothing about it, just because the vibe's right, the aesthetics are right, it's super clean, has everything, you know, around you in that area that's really nice. There are 2 major gyms right next to me, so I'm already getting kind of that health conscious person walking into the area.
Yeah, yeah, you're literally next to a juice bar. Like,
Yeah, that too. Yep.
they better have a Kai Bowls ready to go. You know.
Yep.
But no, that is interesting though. You know, matching that environment, because especially like I'm a germ freak.
Right.
So when I think of wrestling, putting my kid in something, rolling on the ground,
Ringworm.
if it
Yeah.
ringworm,
Yeah.
dude, that's yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people are, you know, everyone thinks the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
okay, this place is nice, it's clean, has a parking lot.
Right.
But yeah, you have
A
to
big
you have to
parking
match-
lot too.
Yeah,
I'm glad you even mentioned
Yeah.
that. Like, literally,
big old parking lot.
I don't have to worry about parking at all. over
Yeah.
there. Like, not at all. So every box got checked when I got that spot.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, that's just the fun journey of being an entrepreneur, though.
Yeah.
Those are the things that people don't tell you about.
Oh yeah. You got
Failures,
Yeah.
you know, not sleeping at night, getting those emails, oh, a counter offer came in, or oh, a pipe busted, or oh, sorry, the county just denied. You're just like,
Right.
you know, everything looks cool when you walk into the gym. You're like, oh, this place is cool. You know, when I walk into places, like even restaurants, I'm always telling my wife, like, man, those must, you know, that had to go through county, or, you know, that had like, damn, look what they did in the back. And she's like, you're the weirdest. I'm like, I love that stuff though.
You know what you're looking
know?
at now because you've
Yeah.
gone through it. You know?
Yeah.
And to your point, even if people do tell you, you're gonna have to deal with problems, you're gonna have to deal with that. People's mindset is usually like, well, it's not gonna happen to me. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just flow through this no problem. You know. No, there's always something.
Yeah.
There is always something in the business entrepreneurial world that you're going to have to deal with. And I feel like it's how you deal with those problems that kind of shapes you and shows you early on how you're going to be as a business person, right?
Yeah.
If you can handle those problems, take them for what they are, figure it out, get everything accomplished that you need to get accomplished and tackle them,
Yeah.
you're going to be set. If it's going to buckle you though, if it's going to take you off track, if you're going to fold under the pressure, maybe rethink going back to work for somebody else or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
like
the
that.
business
You know what I mean?
world
Yeah.
will trim the fat itself. You know, just if you're not meant to be there, if you don't have the right advisor or the right business plan, or
Right.
you know, I mean, there's a reason why banks look at business plans with a fine-tooth comb and go, you need to fill this here. You got some voids here. This might not work. You know, this is your first time, isn't it? You know, they're not dumb.
And that's
because a lot
thing.
of businesses fail.
Yes.
Which sucks.
Yes. And not to knock the jiu-jitsu world, but a lot of times, especially in the early days, jiu-jitsu gyms started because someone liked to train, right? So then they go and open their own spot. They're maybe really good, maybe even kind of known, right? Yeah. And so they bring in and they attract people to train only, but their only focus is on the training part. They do not give two thoughts into the business part of it, or the financial part of it, or the investment.
We're supposed to do taxes separately, like all that shit starts hitting you. You know,
even something as small as just like doing content, doing you know, social media stuff like that. Like all of that goes out the window, or
marketing, everything, because that was your specialty, right? With your last job, I mean, marketing, management, the finance, the taxes. You know, if you have employees, oh man, you can get lost in all that stuff.
100%. So that was definitely something in my previous corporate sales jobs, you know, working for big corporations and doing things at a very sort of high level when it comes to that, having processes in place and standards and like following routines and dealing with all of that I wanted to incorporate into the gym. That I feel like a lot of other gyms don't. Don't get me wrong, there are massive gyms today that do, or at least have someone advising them. But I feel like I'm at least one step ahead on all the business parts of things, getting all these structures in place.
It might be more important than your name at that point.
Right.
You know, because I mean, I've seen here in the Valley, I've seen big Muay Thai names not make it. Not make it, but like they just kind of, everyone ventures off. Oh, I thought maybe it was a money thing, or maybe it was a marketing thing, or maybe it was, you know, I want to start my own thing. Or, you know, I've seen big names here in the Valley that, you know, they've been there for years, and you're like, what happened to that place? You just never know, you know, because you have to, you better have like a brother-in-law or someone that knows business that can help you get this sorted out, or a good tax guy that's not going to be ripping you off, or insurance, or, I mean, you know, places burned down. It's just, the fun struggles of being an entrepreneur, man. Definitely. That's why when I walk into places, I work with a ton of business owners, huge construction companies, and even like the companies that look big, the beautiful trucks. They have those years where they're almost not going to make it. Right. And then they make it, but you just pass by it. You know, you're like, oh, they'd probably make a ton of money. It's like, no, dude. You don't know where they're at. It's always like this in business. You never know what's going to happen, you know. But that's why some people just aren't cut out for it. But that's what I was going to say was, do you think the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling background gave you an advantage over a stronger mindset? Because for me, like for a normal person, they might be like, you know what, this wasn't meant to be. I've already spent money. Like, I'll just keep going to, you know, to a gym, or, you know, I'm not, this ain't worth it. No, for sure. I mean, it's weird. I don't even think about it, but you'll hear it on podcasts or something like that. Or even like, I've even, you know, been in the interview processes with companies, and they'll look through my resume and see like, oh, he worked here, he went to school here, he's got a master's degree. Yeah. The only thing that jumps out sometimes is, oh, you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Jiu-jitsu, black belt. Wow. Shut the door. Tell me more about this, you know? And I'm like, this is a sales job. You know what I mean? But the manager watches UFC. He's like, come in here. If they know a little bit about what they're looking at, they know, oh, how long did it take you to get that black belt? 10 years. Okay. You get a guy's guy who's your management guy, you're like, oh, we're going to be sitting here talking forever now. Yeah. But they see things in the business world that they're attributing to it more like, that's a difficult thing to do. You have to be dedicated for a decade before you even get your black belt. Are you still training? Yes. Okay, so he's still dedicated to it. You would fit in here great because of those exact attributes, that you're dedicated, you've kept something difficult in your life so that you constantly have a challenge. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, things like that plays a huge role in how your mindset is now set up going into an interview, going and working, applying it to all aspects of your life, because it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's how do you tackle these problems? Yeah. Wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, when you're on the mat, everything you deal with is a problem. It's how do you solve it? Yeah. The difference is when you don't solve it on the mat, you're getting choked out, you're getting pinned, you're getting smashed, you know, all these things. Yeah. Makes all these other problems in life feel a lot less, because now you don't got that physical violence that you're having to deal with. Yeah. But when you're prepped for it on the mat, I think it makes a big advantage, at least mentally. Yeah. No, yeah, sure. Definitely. Because I know jiu-jitsu is more laid back. Jiu-jitsu is laid back, but Wrestlers, though, every wrestler I know just has crazy work ethic.
100%.
Crazy work
100%.
ethic. Like I only wrestled for like a month in high school. My shoulder couldn't do it, but I was just like, these kids are animals, dude.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends, he would train during the summer. They would do this crazy workout, these crazy runs. He would sweat, 10 gallons of water. He would still hit me up to like go to the lake and go party that night. I was like, bro, you guys have stupid work ethic.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Probably not that healthy to cut that much weight. But.
I've spoken to several like college level coaches, and they'll almost tell you like they're virtually almost overworked on purpose.
Yeah.
It's more so to train the brain.
Yeah.
To be able to just
they've built up to just a
overcome.
crazy level
Yes.
since third grade
Yes.
or whatever it is,
A lot of times from the jiu-jitsu perspective, when brand new wrestlers come in that are super high level, it's daunting for like my beginner jiu-jitsu people that might have more jiu-jitsu experience, but then these wrestlers are crushing them and outworking them. So I gotta almost tell the wrestlers to almost kind of like lay off a little bit, which is hard for them to hear because they're like, what do you mean I'm smashing these guys? But then they start rolling with like higher level guys, and they realize
you're smashing so hard you're putting yourself into
they're
nice
getting
guillotine.
tired. They're exposing a lot of
Yeah.
things. They're very one dimensional, and these blue belts are higher at that point are very chill, kind of laid
Yeah,
back.
like I'm just gonna wait. You're gonna fall into something.
They've gotten into a rhythm where jiu-jitsu almost kind of teaches how over time to use less to accomplish more.
Yeah, I'm gonna use your leverage because you're smashing so hard. I'm just gonna wait for something to pop
Exactly.
up. Yeah.
Now I will say though, the wrestlers that end up getting it, that's a crazy combo to have.
That's scary.
High level wrestling with high level jiu-jitsu. I mean, that's half the base of the best MMA guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at guys like John Jones that are the best in the world.
Yeah.
Wrestling and jiu-jitsu on the ground, boxing and Muay Thai on the feet. You got those four, you're the best in the world.
Yeah,
You're the best.
No, you always hear a lot of commentators say that too.
Right.
UFC, boxing, they're like, I would rather my kid. I forget what podcast it was, but Brendan Schaub. He was saying he was like, I would rather my kid start with wrestling.
Yep.
Learn boxing later because you can learn boxing for some people a little bit quicker, but if you're back up, I'm getting smashed, I'm getting beat up here, I'm just going to take you down because not a lot of people can get away from the takedown.
I was literally just talking about this last night with my brother-in-law.
Way better background to have and then learn stuff later.
I think I've taught at least hundreds of adults, or I'll try to teach hundreds of adults how to level change and take a shot.
Oh,
right?
you're talking about me right now.
I'm talking about Damon right now. It's a tough process,
Dude.
especially when you're older in life. You're overthinking every detail that the coach is giving you.
You're getting tired. Oh
It's
my God.
awkward. It really is awkward. But to a 6 or 7 year old kid, you teach them one time and they just do it. It's just absorbed quickly. So then later on in life, when you're watching these high level wrestlers, you don't realize a lot of times they've been wrestling since they were kids.
Yeah.
Everything
It's
that,
second nature to them.
Everything that is the detailed learning process, they don't even remember. It's just already in there, to your point, you know? And so
they don't even have to think, which is that extra second and a half. It's just second. Yeah.
Right.
It's just second gear.
But to learn that later on, it could be a task, you know? It's why a lot of older people that start in jiu-jitsu and they're learning the wrestling aspect, they just opt to pull guard because it's easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's actually another thing we're going to have at Superior Jiu-Jitsu. I don't think we've mentioned that to this point. The name of the gym will be Superior Jiu-Jitsu. We'll have 5 black belts, including myself, and one of them will be Chris Pena, who is an amazing wrestler himself.
My solar plex already hurts.
You already feel the pressure, right?
Yeah, I already feel the pressure.
Edit that out. He was a Fresno State wrestler, and then he's been a coach for like the last 30 years in the Buchanan Alta Sierra program that they have over there. So his knowledge of wrestling is red belt level when it comes to ranking it.
Insane.
Right? And we have a plan to basically have like a wrestling for jiu-jitsu class that he's going to lead to kind of negate some of these problems here. Like, we'll never teach like how to like fully change levels because we're actually finding that it's almost not necessary in jiu-jitsu. If we can kind of get someone to step and expose a leg so that we can get it for a single leg takedown, we'd rather make the move easier to accomplish so that it's more applicable to someone in a self-defense situation or something like that.
Yeah, because it's not a wrestling match.
Right.
You just have to, get your hand on a lapel or, reach out for something else.
But I guess if it's a competition setting, they'll still be able to compete against high-level wrestler too, you know. And I mean, we'll obviously we can still pull guard if we need to, but it's separating the difference between competition, the street, and then just like sparring in the gym, you know, and being able to handle all three aspects, but knowing the difference so that you're still. Jiu-Jitsu was designed for self-defense, right? So we still have to
for the smaller guy,
that
right?
back. Yeah, you know, I think that's another thing is a lot of gyms get a little bit too sportive to where they don't. If they're only ever trained to pull guard and find the points and things like that, not that they don't know how to handle themselves on the street, but they need to practice it too. You're only as good as much as the things that you practice. So if you're never practicing, you know, how to deal and use your jiu-jitsu when you're getting punches thrown on you, you might not develop the right things, and that's when you get clipped on the street or something like that. We're going to incorporate all of these things so that we're not just a one-stop shop for competition. We're going to be competition, self-defense, just the casual goer that just wants to do this as a hobby. Women's training, kids training, everything's going to be in there. So it's going to be good, man.
No, that's funny you bring that up because I remember my first competition. You remember my first competition.
I was there.
I was getting smashed, dude. And I was like, wait a minute, wait. I have to stand on my feet first? I was like, wait. We don't do this.
Right.
I was like, do I just go butt scoot up to him and hit knuckles? Like, how do I?
You definitely could.
Dude, I was like, I don't want to end up with that meme. Being that meme guy. But I was like, oh my God. Like, I was sitting there in the bullpen watching everyone. And I'm thinking, I should have wrestled in high school. I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
It makes a big difference.
I mean, the couple guys I went against, a couple of the other guys didn't know how to stand either. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to grab you. We're going to go to the ground. A few of those guys were just stepping back, kind of scooping my ankle. I was like, oh, fuck, this guy knows what he's doing.
You can see right away if someone's wrestled. Their movement's different. Their calmness is different. They're not rigid or stiff,
they're all on their outside foot, messing with me, getting me to go that way. And I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. So having the wrestling with the jiu-jitsu, and you see a lot of these different tournaments going that way too. You know, like the Eddie Bravo stuff, all this like slap jiu-jitsu now. It's crazy.
I like the with the combat jiu-jitsu because it brings back that element of utilizing jiu-jitsu to fight. Right? That was its original purpose. Like you go back and watch the original like Gracie, what do they call them? The Gracie challenge tapes that they used to do, where that's what they would do is go in gym raids. You know, they would go.
You can hold my ankle, but I'm gonna be sitting here slapping you in the face. You better be ready.
No, they would go in.
This is real life now.
They would take like their blue belts or purple belts to go to other schools like karate schools, taekwondo schools, and challenge their black belts with a lower belt in jiu-jitsu, and those black belts never won. Imagine being 30 years in your martial art.
That would hurt me as a man.
And you're a black belt and you own the school and all your students are watching this non-black belt in a different martial art come in, take you down, control you, slap you in the face, and then proceed to choke you unconscious. That's demoralizing at that point. You're now, not that your martial art is useless, but it couldn't handle up against a different martial art that did a completely different set of skills, but you were always trained, stand and bang and use whatever martial art you had. The ground game was so underutilized and also underappreciated, you know? Think about how many street fights we were...
It looks boring, but when you start to learn it, you're like, oh, it's not as easy to get up as I thought. You're sitting there screaming at the UFC, you're screaming at the TV, just get up, get up. It's like, no, you don't understand. He can't get up.
He can't.
He's drowning slowly right now.
And then we were like trained, like incepted our whole lives. Even if it was a school brawl. The moment it hit the ground, get those guys up, get them up, get them up. You don't want to be down there. Like, mostly because you didn't know what to do down there, right? So to your point,
you want a knockout. You
don't
want to.
It looked boring, but you also didn't know what you were looking at, and you didn't want to look like you were just flopping around on the ground or something like that. That's exactly where a jiu-jitsu guy wants to take you. Because you don't know what you're doing. Because, you're going to expose a lot, and you're going to just expel a lot of energy, too. You know, it's like, these are the beautiful things about jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, to me, still reigns supreme in a hand-to-hand fight on the street. Obviously, at the end of the day, don't get into street fights. Don't do anything like that. It's just not worth it. You know, if that's going to be, part of your mindset, don't get into jiu-jitsu, because we're not here to try to teach you how to go win street fights. Defend yourself, sure. Get in good shape, sure. Compete, absolutely. And then have it as a very, very, very last resort. It's crazy today. I mean, you could get into a street fight, win, and then get sued and then lose everything you have, you know, or get into a
street fight. Or you hit someone and they fall and they hit their head. It's like, oh, no, this wasn't worth it.
It's not worth it all the way around, whether you win, and especially not if you lose. You could get in a fight with the wrong person. You get stabbed, you get shot, or they got a buddy and now you're getting jumped by 3 people. There is not a single instance where I can think of that it's a good idea to even try to engage in a street fight, unless you are just pushed to the point where you absolutely have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, avoid it and get out of there.
Yeah, you don't want to end up on World Star today.
No,
That's not good.
These are definitely going to be all the things that we're going to instill into our teaching, you know, so that it's like, yeah, you're learning self-defense, but the goal is not to just feel so confident that you're ready to throw down at any point. That's not the point at all. No.
Yeah.
Avoid fighting at all costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And most jiu-jitsu guys, they train so much, they don't even want to fight afterwards. They're like, dude, I just fought 2 hours, did 4 rounds.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you know, it's like, they don't want to go do that.
Yeah. They always say, oh, you know, guys who know martial arts and boxing or jiu-jitsu, and they're always so chill, you know, it's because they know a lot that I'm like, no, they're wrecked from the week. And then they went to a Saturday class where they thought, I'm just going to roll lightly, and then you run into some buddies before you know it, you're there for 2 hours. You're chill, dude, you're so tired. And you're just chilling all day.
We're all injured too. Most jiu-jitsu guys are only at their best when they're at 90%. There's no going back to 100%. We've always got some lingering injury because we train too much and we don't know when to quit. And if the doctor says, oh, you're probably gonna have to be 2 weeks out of jiu-jitsu, probably just a couple days.
That means roll lightly, right?
Yeah.
So, well, that takes me to my next point, was training, fights, and all that for kids. I was thinking about this actually on the way over here because my son keeps asking me, Dad, when are we going to start jiu-jitsu? Yeah. And I was like, a little bit, just a couple more weeks. But I was like, I should never even told him. But
no, good. Keep the hype alive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And well, now we're always on YouTube. Now we're watching all this crazy stuff. We're watching these crazy kids.
Right.
And I was actually thinking about that on the way over here. I was like, because I know you're probably gonna have a big kids class. Everyone we all have kids now.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And so I was literally thinking that the other day. We went to a little party over at a buddy's house. All the kids are fighting, wrestling, getting crazy. And my son's just kind of like looking around, kind of chilling, you know. But as soon as like a kid comes at him, he just kind of like grabs him, puts him down. And then the kids are like, never mind. They go wrestle, and he was just kind of like, leave me alone. Well, you know, because we wrestle and grapple, we mess around at the house. But I'm always telling him, if I see you hit anybody, because he's got a good right hand. Like he knows how to step into it now. I'm like, you have to be careful now.
You could hurt a kid.
You could hurt a kid, dude. Yeah. I mean, he can easily almost, you know, he'll lift me off balance. I mean, you know, he'll pick up other 6-year-olds and I'm like, dude, chill. Yeah. Like I'll literally yell at him from across the party, put him down, Kane. He's like, oh shit, sorry. But
so he keeps that control though?
He keeps that control.
That's good. Yeah.
But I was literally thinking that this is, I think jiu-jitsu, especially today, is so important, especially for little boys. Yeah. For girls too, but man, there's like no outlet.
Any kids that are high energy, especially, you know, like, so boys or girls, it doesn't matter on that circumstance. It's just more or less, kids are inside playing video games a lot today. Yeah. They are in their phones. They are into things that we didn't even have as kids because we were playing outside. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so there's a huge gap now in going from school to just going straight home, playing video games, staying inside, being less social, being less physically active. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely a lot of sports programs, especially where we live in the Fresno, Clovis area, but like it's becoming a little bit more underutilized. And for those high energy kids that are in the room playing video games, well, those are the kids that are throwing the remote control at the screen because they don't have that physical outlet.
Control yourself, dude, before you get choked out.
Yeah, 100%. So no, I agree completely. The way we're going to have it structured is there will be a 5-year-old to 8-year-old class, a 9 to 12-year-old class, and then a 13 to 16-year-old teenager class. So
nice.
So
you're not lumping them to,
You get a lot of schools where the 5-year-old is rolling with a 10-year-old. That's a massive gap, not just in age, but in physicality and size. It doesn't even matter if that's a girl and that's a boy. It doesn't literally. You need to keep them in where they're at, and also the type of training you're going to get is going to be different too. Like I'm not teaching the 5 to 8-year-olds like crazy techniques that's going to make them lose their attention and then not want to train jiu-jitsu because it's too hard or anything like that. No, they'll have a very special curriculum versus the other age groups so that they stay interested, they keep progressing, and they get enough energy expenditure out during that class that when they get back home, hopefully we turn that kid that's high energy into a little bit more of a chill kid. Or maybe that kid that's a little bit pushing the boundaries. I don't want to say bullying, but like maybe just a little bit rougher around other kids. They're going to start mellowing out too, because there's going to be somebody else in that class that can choke that kid out, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds bad, but that's good for kids to experience.
Well, boys have to be checked like that. You know, I mean, I still remember today, the first time I got really checked, because I thought I was Mr. Badass in third grade. I was up until like third, fourth grade. And then I got my ass checked and went, maybe I won't run my mouth around people I don't know anymore.
It's necessary.
But if I would have had some type of martial art, I would have learned very soon.
Right.
Respect everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, I actually did get into martial art later after that because I got my ass kicked.
Well,
but then I was more chill. Like, you know what? I felt more confident now that I know how to protect myself.
Right.
I'm just going to walk away because I know what I'm capable of. I don't need to prove anything.
Exactly.
You know?
And we're talking to kids.
Yeah.
That's good for even adults to know too. I mean,
Oh,
think about how
especially.
many guys we run into. We're like, dude, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have some sort of outlet. I hear Rogan say it all the time. Like, you don't know what people are capable of, you know, and especially in today, how easy it is for someone to do something like that to you, you know, to just be able to control you, handle you. And in your mind, you've watched movies your whole life and you think Arnold Schwarzenegger's the way to go and lift weights and you can fight. These things do not equate. It helps, but you got to learn how to fight first. You know, you got to learn that proper technique and things like that. A lot of times, like, it's the little guys that are like skinny, like, you know, super introverted, that are killers in jiu-jitsu, you know, because you know, not that you have to be a genius or anything, but jiu-jitsu is a very intelligent sport too. You're playing a game where the pieces are real, right? And it's my strategy versus your strategy, my moves against your moves. And that's just jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. Now you take someone that has that kind of knowledge and somebody that has no knowledge at all. Yeah. It's literally effortless. Yeah. So now you got a lot of extra things that are coming into not just learning the art. It's this confidence that you have now, this higher level of problem solving that you have now, a camaraderie with tons of people that you might not have otherwise gotten the chance to interact with before. And then all these things collide to make jiu-jitsu just so special. Yeah. You know? So no, we're definitely gonna have all that.
Yeah. Well, no, that's I'm not a doctor. Just want to say that first.
Oh, you're not?
I don't know if you knew that.
I thought you were.
Yeah. So I don't feel like they're like every little boy is diagnosed with ADD now.
Sure.
I'm in the life insurance business. I have to know health profiles. I have to ask these questions.
Right.
So many kids, or no, it's not even ADHD anymore. Now it's just ADD. They changed it.
It's both.
They changed it or something. And I always ask people, your kid's on a few medications. What do they do after school?
Right.
That's the first thing I ask them. Oh, they go outside and play with the kids sometimes, but they go upstairs.
Yeah.
So many kids have depression now. So many kids are just like, I mean, you're always trying to find yourself in your teenage years, but I just feel like it shouldn't be mandatory, or maybe it should be. I just feel like every kid should be in some type of difficult physical sport. It really does build confidence. Right. It really does build structure, a little bit of discipline. It was nice when my kid was going to karate. I literally started threatening him. You're not going to go, you don't want to do that? I'm not going to spank you. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to treat you like a little man. Right. I'm just going to take this. You're not going to do that. He wouldn't care.
Right. Right.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
No karate this week. Okay,
What?
Dad. Well, yeah, I can't. Because you know why, though? Is because he liked seeing his friends.
Sure.
He liked training. He liked those like when he would walk over, I was like, dude, did a really good job today. And you see a little boy's face light up. Little boys need that compliment, that discipline. Right. It's just like trying to put this chaos in a little controlled bottle. And if you don't have that outlet, you get little shitheads.
There's got to be something internally happening too, that had that not been the case and he didn't have karate and that light bulb didn't go off when you told him he couldn't go to karate, like chemically even something's happening internally that these other kids aren't getting, and therefore having to medicate to be able to control that same chemical reaction that's having in their brain.
That was funner than his phone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He was like, what? Okay, take the phone. Yeah. I'm not going to miss karate.
And I'm not doubting that, yes, I'm sure some kids definitely do have these conditions, ADD, ADHD, or whatever, and there are legitimate cases. But just the fact that we are almost like over-prescribing these things
I just
now.
think so many need to lower the sugar and need to get into a physical sport they can look forward to every day.
The amount
Little boys need to wrestle every day, but just controlled.
Just the natural dopamine hit that you get when you lock arms with someone and you go into a grappling situation. I mean, that's enough right away to just be natural medication. You know what I mean?
And then you feel that person go K-tap, you're like, oh,
right,
God.
Right.
You know?
Well, then it goes back to all those other elements I was talking about before. Now you're getting a kid doing something physical, doing something difficult, interacting, having to actually talk, not text someone, talk to adults.
Remember moves,
discipline.
Everything.
They got to listen when the instructor's talking. They got to fall in line when, you know, something's being shown. Like, so you're getting almost every element of instruction, of discipline, of just like that ability to learn and behave and show responsibility and respect. You know what I mean? Like everything's there, you know? And these are even the little
stuff. Like I would tell my son, where's your gi? Is it folded? Is it washed?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it stink?
Yeah.
You know, when you walk in, and then, you know, it was kind of cute after like a couple months of him doing karate.
Right.
Before he'd walk onto the mat, he would bow.
Right.
You know, now he does it at home.
Now he's going to be like, Dad, it's good. I'm billing your car. Jeff's laundering him my gi for me.
It's all good. I got a little part-time job now. But I was just like, dude, look at the little character on this guy.
Exactly.
It would crack me up, man. And then to watch, because oh my God, the first class he ever did, and all the instructors knew. They were like, listen, parents, the first week is going to be chaos in here. Don't get mad at your kids. They're going to be talking. Like, they already knew. They were really good over at Guido's.
Oh, yeah.
And like, he was just like, this week to a month, watch the difference.
Right.
Dude, these kids were going nuts, running around, not listening. And then he walks in and smacks the pads. All the kids were like, and they looked over at us, and even he goes, don't look at your parents. And we were like, hell yeah, this is good for them. This is good for them.
That's good.
You know, I mean, he's not going to, like, you know, smack your kid around or anything, but he would smack the ground with a pad, find a dot, sit down. They were like, yes, sir.
No.
Dude, and I'm not kidding. Even because he started like preschool really early. Like, we put him in all the school. He wasn't really afraid. You know, even the teachers were like, how old? You know, he's like my little helper. He's my little listener. When I say, hey guys, he goes, he's the first one to sit down. I'm like, this kid's already learning discipline.
Nice.
There's a time to play. Nice. You can run around after, but when you hear that pad smack the ground, you know you better go find a dot really quick. Right.
Well,
you know, or Mike's going to come up and pick you up by your gi. Like, he literally picked my kid up one time by his gi and was like, you're talking too much. Sat him down, and we were all just like...
I was just going to say, I mean, they were also at a great school. Mike is a great guy. When I launched everything and I put it out there that the gym was coming soon, like, he was one of the first people to reach out to me and say, like, congratulations. I mean, you could have easily been like, oh, this is a competitor to me of some sorts, or this or that. No, he was like, literally like, congrats, dude, you're going to do well. And even extended out like a time to go sit down and have lunch and just talk business on things and help me out on things. And I was like super appreciative of that. I mean, Mike Guido is definitely a really good guy.
No, so, and he's marketing is amazing.
Amazing. And I know the guy that does his marketing. It's this little company called Rayo.
Rayo's doing some awesome stuff. Art's doing crazy stuff.
Not just on the media side, but even on the gear side too.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Rayo gis, Rayo shirts, all these things. They've come a long way in quality and everything. So they're super amazing.
Well, we were saying earlier, every business needs video.
Yes.
Me and Corbin were just saying this. If your Instagram, Facebook, your YouTube, that's your new business card.
Pan over to my guy right here real quick. I don't know if you could do that or not. Art, lean over. Just lean over.
Lean over, Art. Look at him. Look at him working.
You got to have a guy in here with you at all times. No, exactly to your point, man. I mean, it's... Especially when you're just bursting onto the scene like I am and I'm trying to open a spot. The amount of people that I can reach doing things normally, doing things according to... yeah, there he is. Always got a camera on me of some sort. You're just not going to get nowhere near the amount of eyeballs on you in a traditional route today.
Yeah.
Whereas the moment I have him with me and editing content, posting content, getting different creative ideas, he'll come to me and text me at like 10 o'clock at night and be like, dude, I think we should do a video where you address Q&As.
Well, that's like, the only thing people know about you.
Exactly.
Unless, like, when people ask me, you know, about the gyms or what do I do for this or where do I go for that, I forward their Instagram to people.
Exactly.
That's all I do. I just forward the Instagram. That's your business card.
Yep.
And if you don't have your own marketing or you don't have a camera guy following you around at least a couple times a month, nobody knows you, especially today.
And there should be a good blend. I mean, I feel like you should have some really good professional content, but then every once in a while you should just throw on the live, you know, and just so that people see you for you. And then they start to see that blend of, okay, he's pushing out really good professional quality.
Yeah.
He comes on, talks to us every once in a while. Sometimes it just could be a picture that lists out bullet points of things, you know, like anything that provides knowledge, shows who you are as a person. They start to get that personal touch. So now when they go to see Damon at Optimal Coverage or Jeff at Superior Jiu-Jitsu, they actually know that person and want to do business with that person more than the entity of what their business is. You know, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
So
well, and those are some of the biggest. Like when I lived in San Diego, they were way ahead of the content game.
Right.
Like there was already guys walking around with cameras, little microphones up on top. I was like, oh my God, you constantly need to have a camera in your gym, or in your business or whatever. I mean, look at YouTube now. I mean, you got CPAs, you've got doctors. You know, one of the most famous people my wife follows is some doctor who pops pimples.
Right.
I'm like,
oh God, my wife loves that. Yeah.
Why do women love this so much? But I mean, I bet you her business is just blown up.
Yep.
So everyone, like, if you're gonna start a business, everyone must have a marketing guy, a team, someone shooting video a couple times a month, following you around. Because if you're not, you know, people are like, oh, that's a little pricey, that's a little expensive. You don't think buying a billboard is expensive? You don't think buying a commercial is expensive? Radio time? I looked into all that. I was like, oh my God. No, I'd rather call Art over at Rayo and be like, come shoot me a video, dude, because I'm not paying $5,000 to be on the radio for 3 weeks or whatever. And, plus, no one can even see me.
Right. Yeah. Right. And plus, I mean, it might seem like an upfront cost, like, oh, $5,000 or this or whatever. Yeah. Trust me, the investment that you're going to get out of that is going to be priceless. I mean, you spend $5,000 now, but maybe that equates into 20 new clients where you just tripled that. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. Yeah. And now
1,000 people just saw you. Exactly. You are a moving billboard now.
All those new clients, now they spread word of mouth. They spread the traditional way, but you wouldn't have got them hadn't you just done the original investment into your media. No, it's a huge thing. And then plus, to your point, these doctors, these things that we're seeing on YouTube that we never had the ability to search before, everyone has knowledge to provide. And there's always someone looking for that knowledge. One day you could just be bored on Google and be like, what's the best martial art, right? And then maybe my jiu-jitsu video pops up, right? And then they're watching me teach a technique or teach how to get out of a headlock in a street fight or whatever. They got to me somehow when that was not even a thing before in the past.
Dude, if you are not on there though, you just missed out.
You just missed out.
You know, I can't forward your contact. I can't show up. I want to see, because I'm like this now. Like before I even go to like a restaurant out of town, if they don't have at least 20 Google photos, I don't get to see the inside. I don't get to see if there's a cool little setting on a patio. If I don't get to see their menu, if I don't see
a couple Yelp reviews,
everything.
Yeah,
it's huge,
man. Now on the flip side, a couple Yelp reviews can break you too. But you know,
all eyes are on you, man.
But I think people are getting better today too at also deciphering. Okay, the majority of these Yelp reviews are good. This guy just had a bad experience. He probably shouldn't even gone on there and wrote that review or whatever. You know, but whatever. You
have those.
You got those all the time. But no, man, knowledge is wanted, and I feel like too, being in whatever field you're in, a lot of the questions you're like, that just seems like a simple question. That's not to someone that doesn't know jiu-jitsu or doesn't know insurance or something. You know what I mean? It's like, answer all these questions that even you think are basic because you're in the field to people that know nothing, so that they right away are just like, oh, that's what that you have to wear a gi. I didn't even know it was called a gi. I thought it was just a karate uniform. Whatever the case is, you know? No, these things are all things that people want. You have to assume that someone knows nothing about what you do. And then just tell them. And then that builds you up too, because now they're like, man, this guy's good enough to do the basic videos on top of the advanced videos for the guys that already know what they're doing, or the advanced person that kind of has been in business a while and they think they know insurance or something. You know, it's like, no, there's always something to be pushed out there, content to be made. So no, once we get rolling, right now, a lot of my content is exactly that, just kind of like describing what's coming, taking people through the process of the gym renovations, doing Q&As. We've done a lot of, just what is the gym going to have? How many instructors are we going to have? And there's more coming up until the time that it opens. Then after that, then we'll do a lot more normal things like just technique of the day. We'll do videos that are just like addressing hygiene and, you know, like, oh, this, don't come into class with a
put some camera mounts in the gym, dude, so people can just record themselves.
There's so
I've seen the gym do that. I was like,
really?
I was like, what are all these on the walls? Like, oh, they're camera mounts. I can go put my phone on it and record myself.
That's a good idea. That's cool, because you always want someone that wants to get some content, you know, this and that. As long as I got my logo in the background, we're good. We're good. No.
I skipped right over that. So because the gym isn't done yet, what is the layout of the gym? I know you're going to have a small workout gym in the back.
Yeah.
You're going to have some saunas. You're going to have showers. Like,
Yeah.
what else? What's the plans for the gym? What's the future of the gym look like?
Is the focus. I feel like a lot of times too, you'll get gyms that pop up and they almost offer too much, like Muay Thai, boxing, Jiu-Jitsu. Love those gyms. Not a knock on them, but mine will definitely have a very significant focus just on Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
So we will have 2 main mat areas, a very large 2,000 square foot mat area, and then a little bit more private, like 500 square foot mat area that'll be on a springboard floor. So that one will be focused on like competition, and then just smaller groups. So like maybe more like the women's class or a smaller like private lesson that we want to do. So 2 mat areas, that'll help a lot. That will allow for 2 classes to go on at the same time also if we need to. And then, we will have what we call our performance room. So that'll be in the back. And the performance room will have functional weight equipment, everything you need from squats to bench press, anything like that. But then on top of that, we'll have a 4-person sauna, and then one of the cold plunges that we're going to put in there. That's a huge rage right now. Attached to the performance room will be a door that leads to our outdoor turf area. So it'll be a covered turf area. So rain or shine, you could go out there, push sleds, flip tires, battle ropes. And then it's also big enough to where we'll probably even have like, tables and chairs out there so people can just hang out too.
Little events or whatnot.
Exactly. The gi laundry service, like I mentioned, that'll be an extra charge for people that just want their gis to get cleaned. It gets to a point, especially in jiu-jitsu, like initially you buy one gi, but now you're having to wash that gi every time you want to go train. And you're addicted to training now, so you're training a lot, right? And a gi, for people that don't know, is...
And your house will start to smell.
Yeah, it looks like a karate uniform, but it's a lot thicker because you're tugging, pulling on it. It's got to be durable.
Oh, they stay wet for days if you let them hang.
Yeah. It's a pain. So then you buy another gi so that you can offset washing that one gi all the time. Next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 gis. So for us...
Batman freaking, just uniforms all day
100%.
long.
For us to offer a service where you just don't even have to worry about it anymore, and you could come to the last class of the day, take your gi off, drop it in one of our bins, and know that it'll be ready, dried, cleaned, hung up the first class of the following day. That's a massive
especially if you're busy or you're law enforcement or whatever. It's like, I didn't have time to go do this. I didn't have time to go do that. My gi's ready to go.
So to that point, our first class of the day will start about 6 a.m. So for everyone that's trying to get in before they go jam out to work. A lot of times you go to gyms and you train in the morning and then you have to go back home and get clean. We're going to have 2 full-blown locker room
40 minutes
areas.
down. You're just like...
Exactly. 2 full-blown locker areas for men and then the women, 2 showers in both of them, little sink and vanity and plenty of lockers in there. So realistically, this can be a one-stop shop where you can utilize the showers in the locker room space, get your weight training done, get your jiu-jitsu done. And then we're even going to have just little lounge areas in there too, so that once you've fallen in love with this place and you want to come every day, you can get to the point where, man, I got an hour or 2 to kill. I'm just going to go hang out at the jiu-jitsu gym and we'll have like a full lounge, TV.
Or I'll let my kid do his class and I'll sit and work on my laptop.
Or maybe next time we do this podcast there. Or maybe you do a business meeting there. The goal is Starbucks.
It'll be my new Starbucks. Yeah.
Starbucks killed it back in the day with this idea of just have a place where people want to go and chill and nice chairs, nice mugs. They don't really do the mugs a lot anymore, that kind of stuff. But they transformed how you go out into the world and just hang out in a coffee shop. It just happened to be. I want to kind of take that same vibe into the jiu-jitsu world too and have that hangout. You want to be there, you get your training in, and then all of this is going to be in a very, very nice, clean aesthetic. We're always going to have someone manned at the front desk. There's always going to be people cleaning right after class is done.
Yeah.
So, no, the vibe is going to be really, really high-end, very aesthetically pleasing, but with great instruction, great vibe, and just very mellow, laid back, and, we're there to work. We're there to get better, So.
No, that'll be sweet because when you were laying it out and showing me, I was like, hold on. I can't wait to get the full schedule list because I'm literally going to work my schedule around it. I was like, okay, if my kid works out before me or after, then I can go into the back, get some 5 minutes in my sauna, work out at the gym, let my kid do his thing. If I need to make a phone call, I'll go work on my laptop for a little while.
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh. Or if I have to be there at 7 a.m., if I have a meeting, I can shower. Hey, just meet me at this location real quick. We'll have a coffee. We'll go over your policy.
Exactly.
I'm literally already mapping out just to really save time.
I love that.
People always say, time is money. I'm like, no. Time is way more valuable than money. If I can go anywhere that's just going to save me time where I can shower, have a meeting while my kid's training, I can work out. I just kill two. If it's like my off day or if I just want to sit in the sauna, I'll sit in the sauna for 20 minutes while my kid's training.
Yep. 100%. The goal is show,
especially in this fast-paced world. We're all just like, oh my God, I got to drive another hour. And
Yeah, no. I want to be able to show and provide enough value to where exactly what you just said. You're already trying to plan your day out so that you could be there.
Yeah.
And make things work around it. Where, you could go into a gym that just doesn't offer enough or only offers things at certain times, or maybe you walk in and there's not even someone at the front desk. Again, of all the gyms I've been to, I wanted to take the best and worst elements, the best being what I want to incorporate, the worst what I want to try to avoid and correct upon, to make this experience exactly that, somewhere where they feel like they need to be and they're gonna make it work to be there. And then you're just gonna get the people that already know how to train. They already train and they just see the value in the added benefits of being a super enhanced athlete with this performance room and all the other added amenities while just training in a very, very nice place. That's gonna be huge. So
I think this is gonna be a great addition to the Valley, man. Like I was saying, I think the Valley has so much potential. I feel like we have so many cool things that like the world doesn't know about yet, know, because California, we're just known for whatever we're known for, whether it's good or bad. We have like, even just here in the Valley, we have our lakes. We're not far from Yosemite.
Right.
We've got the beach 2 hours away.
We're close to everything.
Within
2 hours, basically, you could be anywhere.
Yeah. And I'm thinking your gym is going to be one of those spots where people compete in Sacramento, San Francisco.
Definitely.
We get skipped over.
Yep.
Like we just started barely getting like big comedy shows, but I think as Fresno's growing, it's like, whoa, wait, I can go to San Francisco or Sacramento, San Jose. I'm gonna stop in the Central Valley. Right. They've got good places to train, good places to eat. I just feel like we're not really known yet.
Yeah.
And then you go down to LA or even Bakersfield now. Bakersfield's growing like crazy.
Huge.
Bakersfield, LA, and I'm just like, man, we could literally become like a cool little central hub.
Right.
It's just not enough people know, which comes back down to social media.
Yeah.
No one knows because nobody's putting anything out.
Right.
So I think this is going to be fun, man.
No, I appreciate that, man. The goal is to up everyone's level of jiu-jitsu, So my goal is to not take anyone away from any other jiu-jitsu or fight gym in the Valley. The goal is to just up the level of everyone's jiu-jitsu. We're
everyone
such a
here
small
knows
town.
each other.
Yeah,
we should all be training together to when we go down to LA. Central Valley kicks ass, and then we come back and we all have our own spots.
We're like a very big small town. I mean, you think about it, Fresno's still like what 500,000 people, and then Clovis is an added 100,000 people. So we're like 600,000 people. So it's big.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still enough of that feel of I can walk down the street and know somebody. And me and
everywhere you go, you run into someone you know in Fresno. Because we're not like LA big yet.
No,
we're not a small town, but we're still on that. You got to be careful. Everyone knows everyone here for the most part. A lot of business owners, a lot of the restaurants, everyone just kind of knows each other. I feel like we're still not like this, like LA, where we've got 12 different cities and no one knows. Like every gym, like you were saying with JB Fitness.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
Iron Man, JB, GB3, like we all know,
And it only helps each of these businesses to work together, to do some sort of collaboration, to do this, to do that, to say like, hey, maybe something comes into my gym and I'm like, oh man, this seems like it's working out good for you, but what's really eking you? Well, I live really far away. Well, then maybe go to this other gym that's right over here. I would be happy to say that.
Yeah, we've got gyms all over the Central Valley now.
Upping jiu-jitsu in general, right? My goal is to enhance the person's life that walks through my door, whether that's with me or maybe they really do live 2 minutes away from another gym. Go to that gym. Yeah. Now I know that he's still doing jiu-jitsu.
And if you're on this side of the town, drop in. Come train. We'll, show us some cool new stuff because, as we, like with the Central Valley, when people talk about jiu-jitsu guys, like if a bunch of killers come out of Fresno, you don't really ever know the gym. You just know, oh, that guy,
the name,
that dude's the good. That's the guy from Central Valley, right? Fresno. Oh, that guy's a killer.
Yep.
You know, so you just kind of bring everyone along with you.
Exactly.
But that's where I think the Valley's gonna, in the next couple of years, I feel like some real killers are gonna be coming out of the Valley.
Well, and already look at our level of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, with Clovis schools and Clovis High, Buchanan, all these elite level wrestling schools. It's only natural that our jiu-jitsu is gonna follow right alongside the cousin in the grappling art. You know what I mean? So it's and it is. You know, I think it's taken a little bit longer for a lot of the wrestlers to get into jiu-jitsu, but to me, that's the next evolution, right? Like we started out, you know, in like the early ages with the Hoist Gracies, and then you built your way up into like the Marcelo Garcias, and for people that don't know what I'm talking about, that's just like all the legends of our sport.
Yeah.
And you know, if we had to equate that to boxing, I would say right now we're still only in like the Mike Tyson era. We haven't even seen the Floyd Mayweather era yet of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that next evolution is really like taking these high level wrestlers, teaching them jiu-jitsu young to where they're almost doing both at the same time, and then we have this sort of hybrid of grapplers that are just going to blow away the next competition.
And when you think of the Mike Tysons and the Gracies,
right,
you don't think, well, what school did they go? It's like, that guy's from Brazil.
Right.
That guy's from LA.
Right.
Oh, that's the dude from the Central Valley, Fresno.
Exactly.
So I think, you know, it's not, and I think Fresno's pretty good with stuff like that, you know, where we're not, I mean, obviously everyone's competitive, but for the most part, I feel like Fresno's just like, we're still very neighborly. Everyone knows each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's where I just feel like in the next couple of years, man. I mean, even like the fight to wins that come here.
Yeah.
Dude, those things sell out. Those are
events.
some big ass crowds. It gets rowdy in there. We've got so many guys from Fresno. I was like, dude, it's just gonna keep growing. I feel
fun.
like
It's really fun. You say rowdy, but it's fun.
No,
it's
rowdy like in a fun way. Like it's fun. Like you don't want to miss those.
And those shows are awesome too, because it gives you that time to shine, to be in the spotlight, right? Shout out to Seth Daniels for providing Fight to Win all over. But no, it's definitely that's a big one, you know, because otherwise
and you see every gym there.
Yeah, every gym
you know
there.
What I mean? It's us. It comes down to us versus the guy from LA.
Exactly.
The guy from Sacramento. We're not individual.
Right.
We're not moving in fractions at that point.
Right.
You know, when Jeff Shields takes someone up, it's like, okay, that guy from LA killed it. Or I forget his name. He was from San Diego. I knew that. I was like, this guy's a killer. He's from San Diego.
Right. And it
pretty soon it's gonna be that guy. That's the guy from Fresno.
And now you don't have to go into some random high school gym to do a regular tournament where there's 12 different mats, and you're going out and your friends are in the crowd with binoculars trying to watch you fight. No, you get a stage event with Fight to Win.
Yeah.
You get walkout music. You know, it's like you're walking
Fight to
out.
Win's legit.
It's
dude.
cool.
It's fun.
Really cool. You can even
fun.
make money if you sell enough tickets. You know what I mean? Like you're not paying for anything. So
Oh yeah, they pay out the fighters. They're like, these guys are actually making money tonight.
You got to put some work in and sell some tickets, but honestly, it's not that hard to invite 10 of your friends to come, and then they invite 2 or 3 more people, and then next thing you know, you sold out 2 tables, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, you get a little cheddar, you get to go out and fight, you get to be on a big stage. I love those events. Those are great events.
Yeah. Well, man, I can't wait until your gym opens up. I think it's gonna be awesome for the Valley. There's gonna be more spots to train, because I don't know if there's any places out that way to really train. It seems like that area is dead on jiu-jitsu. It's like all around Fresno, Clovis, there's gyms everywhere, but so I'm glad there's a spot out there now, because it's right in my area where I'm always at dropping kids off and stuff. But I think it's gonna be amazing, man. I can't wait to see that place fill up. Hopefully more people are bringing their kids over there. You know, get rid of this whole depression, anxiety, build some discipline. Parents too. You know. And I like that it's convenient. You know, I think that's gonna be the new that's gonna be the next level for most gyms. They're gonna be like, we need showers. We need a sauna. We need
and I hope they do. I hope they up their game. You know what I mean? That's
we need a little gym in the back. We need to be a little more modern, but I think it's gonna be awesome, man. So thanks for coming on. I'm gonna throw all of your Instagram and everything down below so people can check you out. When are you opening up? Do you know?
The goal right now is December. So that's the goal.
Okay.
There could be delays. You know, we're still in renovation and construction and this and that, but I would say no later than January 1.
So definitely January.
Definitely
You're gonna be ready to
100%.
go. We're gonna start that new year, new me, learn a new sport.
Yep, we'll be off of Cedar and Knees. right there on the, what would that be? The northeast corner where Iron Office is and all that sort of stuff is in there. Superior Jiu-Jitsu. We do have, you'll see the Instagram pop up. We're getting the website launching soon. The website will launch once we're ready to start launching pre-registrations.
Yeah.
So
you'll have classes.
Yes.
That'll be set out.
Stay on the lookout on the Instagram, because that'll always be where you're going to get the information first, to then be able to go, okay, boom, he's launching content, right? Or launching the registration. So then get onto the website, get signed up. There'll be a deal for the pre-registration. And then, man, let's train. Let's train.
That'd be awesome.
It's going to be great.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Stay on the lookout for more content as well. Rayo will be putting out tons of content once the gym is all finished up and you see the classes and you see what it looks like, and the whole layout will be pretty sweet, man. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one.